Joining us now, White House senior advisor for COVID response, Andy Slavitt. Andy, always good to have you here. One of the reasons why so many people are getting lax about the mask mandates and restrictions is because they're vaccinated. Shouldn't the millions of vaccinated Americans be able to do what they want? That's how they're feeling.
Well, good morning, Stephanie. Thanks for having me on. Look, we're not out of this pandemic yet. We still have an accelerating threat. And if you've been vaccinated, that's wonderful. I'm really glad about that. But, Joe, we also have to remember that there's millions and millions of people that haven't yet been vaccinated. And so lifting all these restrictions, telling people not to wear masks, gathering in large crowds, that's the equivalent of playing with fire. Now, if we were talking about this in 6 weeks, it would be a completely different story. But why we're doing it now, it's as if we don't want to have any. This is the governors around the country. Some of them don't want to have any role in the rescue of our country and our citizens. And the real question is, are we going to participate in that rescue, like the response from the Biden administration, or are we going to just wait and hope science rescues us? And I think we can all work together. We can beat this much quicker.
So what's the message? Because the CDC director says she does feel this sense of impending doom. But for people watching, they are either vaccinated or getting in line to be vaccinated. So they have this feeling like they did the work, they're vaccinated, they want to go back to their lives. Is the answer 6 more weeks and we'll be there?
Well, look, it's just like last springtime. You look outside, you can't see the virus. You see the vaccinations, and all that feels good. But, keeping both optimism and concern in our heads at the same time is a reality. It's something we have to kind of be able to process together, particularly as we're on what hopefully is the last leg. So the message from the Biden administration is we have an accelerated threat. We are accelerating our response. Within 3 weeks, 90% of Americans will be within 5 miles of a vaccine, and 90% of Americans will be eligible for the vaccines. And by May 1st, that'll be 100%. So we are accelerating this response. We're bringing it to everybody. That should send a message to people that they should hold on for a couple more weeks at least.
An accelerated threat to whom? It is exciting when you walk us through those numbers and those timelines, because we want to get those vaccinations. But 73% of Americans that are 65 and older, great news, they've received at least 1 dose of the vaccine. Months ago, the message was wear a mask to protect your grandparents. But if our grandparents are all vaccinated, who exactly are we trying to protect? Those who are choosing not to be vaccinated?
If I'd have told you 2 years ago that 50% of seniors, which are the number that haven't been fully vaccinated, or even 25% of seniors, which are the number that haven't had their first vaccine yet, were at risk, you tell me, boy, that's something we all ought to pay attention to. I mean, 25% of the seniors in our country at risk is just too much. So we're making great progress, but we can't fool ourselves into thinking that progress means we're all done yet. And if we're younger, we have to remember that this virus uses us to find sicker people, to find older people. And remember, it's not just older people. We've got younger people hospitalized. We have people with pre-existing conditions. We have lots of people. I mean, 1,000 people are dying a day, Stephanie, as you know, and as I think people know. And that's a tremendous loss. And if we don't keep that in mind, we risk thinking this is that we've made more progress than we've made to this point. We're going to get there, but we need a little bit more time.
Then how do we address these restrictions as it relates to people who are not choosing to get the vaccine, younger people who are saying, I don't want to socially distance, I don't want to wear a mask, and I don't plan to get a vaccine when I'm eligible?
Well, look, I think most people who have been on the fence about getting a vaccine are coming off the fence. The vast majority of people of both parties are saying that they're supportive of the response that President Biden has been leading the country through, and the majority of people who are now saying that they have had questions about vaccines but are increasingly looking like they want to take it. The reason is simple. We've got over 100 million shots, 120 million shots that have been given. We have dramatically improved results. We've got it's a very safe vaccine, obviously, because it couldn't be in that many arms without knowing if there was a safety concern. So people are seeing that, and they're deciding for themselves, and they're communicating with people they trust who are telling them that. So I feel pretty optimistic that many folks will want to take a vaccine. Not everybody, but most.
The fact that we are talking about COVID and you are feeling optimistic, that's positive news for the country. Andy, always good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for all that you do.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.